Hi, this is Jeannie, and this is the second episode of Bisaya in America. And the topic for today is going to be celebrities that I've met. Okay, and this is going to be interesting. So I've been here 7 years, and I have attended comic conventions, and it's very interesting. I really love it. And the celebrities that I have met in person and I have seen in shows and seminars are the following. It was always in my bucket list for years and years and years and years to be able to meet Oprah, and I did set I think I had a vision board where I would have a weekend with Oprah. And lo and behold, when I was in Jersey and when I was living in New Jersey, Oprah Winfrey had a weekend seminar. So it was a 2-day seminar, Saturday and Sunday, and it was so exciting. And I didn't have a car at that time yet, and this was in Newark, and I've never been to Newark at this point, not on a bus anyway, but I made it, and I went to her seminar. It was amazing. It was 2 days of Oprah, and she had guests. I think the author of Eat, Pray, Love was there, Elizabeth Gilbert, and her story was amazing. I forgot who else was there. She had authors that were on her Oprah network, and there's a lot. Like, she had a lot of guests, but those were the only people. I think Elizabeth Gilbert and Oprah were the only two people that I really found interesting. And I did meet Oprah's friend Gail, and it was kind of interesting. I did sign up for the Oprah's magazine thingy membership. I didn't feel like I should sign up for it. It was a little pricey, and then so I lined up, hoping that I would get to shake Gail's hand. And Gail, to those who don't know who Gail is Oprah Winfrey's best friend, and she's the editor of Oprah magazine, and I'm a subscriber, by the way, or I subscribed to Oprah, but it was all fluff, it's all sponsorship and stuff like that. It was kind of disappointing because I didn't purchase the membership, so I was literally just in front of her. She didn't even make eye contact, so I was just so disappointed. I said, oh, okay, because I didn't purchase that a membership, so she didn't want to look at me, and I was really literally just maybe few inches, less than a feet away from her. It's she was literally in front of me, and she ignored me, and I said, oh, okay, I guess that's how they treat common people. And so it was pretty disappointing, and I had an opportunity, if I chose to see Oprah again before the COVID happened, which was in February, and I had the time, and I could really have done it and gone to Florida to see Oprah in person, but that just turned me off. That interaction with Gail just turned me off. I'm like, okay, that's how they treat common people, I guess, or commoners. But it was amazing. I was able to greet Elizabeth Gilbert, and she was in front of me, and then she just said hi. She seemed really friendly, and her story was amazing, and the stuff that she talked about in the seminar, in the 2-day seminar, was amazing and inspiring as well. Another celebrity that I have met I was in a show. William Shatner had a one-man show, and this dude, to those that don't know who William Shatner is, he's only the captain of the Enterprise. So he's James Tiberius Kirk. So I grew up watching his show and his movies. It's just, to be in his presence, I was it was amazing. And this dude, he can command a stage. He was talking for 2 hours, and it was a one-man show, and I couldn't get enough of it, He really commanded the stage, and I didn't know. I thought he was in his 70s. I swear. And I was shocked when he said, oh, I'm still riding horses. But he is, at that time at least, which was a couple years ago, he was 89 years old. And I'm sure he's in his 90s right now. But to be riding horses, and he's saying, oh, my back's starting to hurt. And I'm like, yeah. But he's amazing. And he talked about Leonard Nimoy and DeForest Kelley and his friendship, and how they pranked DeForest Kelley or Dr. Bones, how they took his... So DeForest Kelley or Dr. Bones, during their lunch or break period, he would toast a bagel, and then he would look at other foods and stuff to come back to his toasted bagel. And what they would do is they would sneak and grab his bagel and then put the toaster back on without the bagel, and then they would just hide, and DeForest Kelley was he would come back to the toaster, and then he would just be so disappointed because when the toaster popped, his bagel disappeared. And they pranked him several times, according to William Shatner. And by they, I mean Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner would prank DeForest Kelley a couple of times. And it was funny. And it was a funny story. And it sort of humanized them. And I heard William Shatner was talking about how he was broke, and then the show was canceled, and I think he said it was the time of the moon landing, and he was in his van with his dog, and he was homeless, pretty much homeless, and he was doing theater, and he was a struggling and starving artist. And it was just if you think about success, it's not always, you don't get successful overnight. So William Shatner definitely is the embodiment of just being true to yourself and just going for that dream. And of course you will have struggles, but he eventually, as you all know, he's an icon. So it was just pretty amazing. I also was able to see Mr. Zachary Quinto, who played Spock in the new movies, and I hope they're going to make new Star Trek movies because it's just amazing. Yeah, Zachary Quinto is amazing. So I saw him in Stephen Colbert show. He was a guest. So speaking of Stephen Colbert, yeah, I was able to get my friend was able to get free tickets, and she invited me, which I was grateful, and it's pretty amazing. But to get to the Stephen Colbert show, you have to line up for, I think we lined up for an hour or an hour and a half, and we were just treated like cattle. It was all... The crew were screaming at us, line up here, and all they needed was a cattle prod. That's how I felt. They didn't really treat the guests well, and then they threatened us. They said, "Oh, don't take your cell phone, don't take videos and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay, is that how they're going to treat their fans?" And they said once they catch us with taking a selfie or something, they will confiscate our cell phone, and we will be out of there. So it was pretty intimidating. They were really threatening us, and it's sort of I enjoyed the show, but that really sort of disappointed me in a way. I also was able to go see Trevor Noah, which... Speaking of Trevor Noah, so I had the opportunity of getting free tickets for Trevor Noah's show back in the day when he wasn't really famous yet. I think it was in 2013, 2014. And someone just approached us in Times Square and said, "Do you want tickets to Trevor Noah's show?" And I said, "Yeah." And he gave us an email. We never emailed him back because I was like, yeah, I sort of know that guy, but I'm not really into him. But lo and behold, Trevor Noah explodes and he becomes popular and he's famous. And then I'm like, oh no, yeah, I missed my chance. But in order to, compensate, actually drove up to see him. I drove like 4 hours to see him. And I went to see him in Tucson, Arizona, and it was fun. It was really fun. But I find that I'm more into Sebastian Maniscalco. So Sebastian Maniscalco, he went to New Mexico at Albuquerque, and I drove like 3 hours to see him. And I enjoyed the show. So Sebastian, I realized that I'm more of a Sebastian Maniscalco fan, because I like his sense of humor. He's really funny and he's sarcastic and he talks about life. And Trevor Noah, I love him, but it's more his social commentaries that are really, really funny. And Stephen Colbert, oh, I love his monologues. So I think at the time when I watched the show, Stephen Colbert show, I think that was around the time that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were getting married or engaged or something. So that was a long time ago to think, or not really a long time ago, it's like 2-3 years ago, and to think now they had the Megxit happen. So that's pretty interesting. I worked in the Lower East Side and I worked in downtown. So they would do filmings there, and one of the shows that they filmed was Blue Bloods and Gotham. So I actually was just walking, to my next client, because I work in healthcare. I work in home health. So I was walking, and then I noticed that there was this guy that looked familiar, and he was wearing like a fake police badge. And I just realized as he was walking by, and he was just pretty close to me, and I'm like, oh, that guy looks familiar. Oh God, it's the guy from OC, and I think he played Lieutenant Gordon in the show Gotham. So he was just walking past me, and I'm like, okay, I think they were filming. They were filming at that time, and I think they were on a break. And Blue Bloods, I don't really follow the show, but I love Tom Selleck, and I think I didn't see him, but I saw a woman, and I think the brother of Mark Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg, Donnie Wahlberg. So he was filming, and a dude told us like to keep quiet and not to make a fuss and stuff, because they were literally filming it, an episode in City Hall. And I also met, I went to a Michael Moore show, and this was amazing. I'm a fan of Michael Moore. I really love the dude. He's a genius and he's funny, and he had a show in Broadway, and it was pretty controversial because he was talking about the president and criticizing the president, but he wasn't really. When I went to his show, Michael Moore show, I think the show was Terms of My Surrender, and it was in Broadway. It was about the changing demographic of America, and he talked about like how America and Americans, they're turning blue and they're getting pretty progressive, and then the tides are changing. It's pretty prophetic, because the things that he's talking about is actually coming true. And I think I saw him sometime in 2017, I think, like a few months after the current president won the office. So Michael Moore, and what really stood out was when he said, hey, you have to educate yourself. You have to read, you have to read history. And he said that readers are leaders. So that's pretty amazing. So I really kept that to mind. So I read a lot, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I read about history, American history, and politics as well. Another person that I met, which is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I was visiting a client somewhere in Fifth Avenue, and I went into their building, because I did home health, and I went into the elevator, and who do I see in the elevator but Gwyneth Paltrow's mom? she was in the elevator with me. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Blythe Danner. Yeah, Blythe Danner. And she just like, I just immediately knew she was Blythe Danner, because I'm like, oh my God, that's Gwyneth Paltrow's mom. And she said hi to me. She said, hi, how are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm doing okay. And I was, I was like really self-conscious, because she was like the first celebrity that I had like a normal encounter with, and we shared an elevator. So isn't that neat? So at least I can say, hey, I shared an elevator with Gwyneth Paltrow's mom. So that was pretty radical. And I've met Emeril Lagasse. I used to watch his show before, the BAM guy, the chef. I saw him in a casino in New Mexico. I went to see his show. His food is amazing, by the way. I was just disappointed because I bought one of his books for him to sign, and he didn't really want to sign it in person. He said, he told his assistants to take it to his room, and then he was just going to sign it and give it to us after the show. So it was pretty disappointing, and he didn't take selfies. And I was sitting with a family and one woman there. It was her birthday, and all she wanted was a selfie. And her daughter said, hey, Mr. Lagasse, it's my mom's birthday, and she's your biggest fan, and we've been to your restaurant in Louisiana, and we follow you. We've been in Vegas and stuff. But unfortunately, he didn't indulge them in a selfie, even if it was her birthday. So I guess he's not a people person. And this was pre-COVID, by the way, so he had no reason to be a germaphobe. So it was just pretty disappointing. I guess the biggest celebrity I have really encountered and who I really had like a hug with, was Jason Momoa. So Jason Momoa, I went to the Comic-Con in Albuquerque. He's just tall. He's taller than I could ever have imagined. He's like 6'4", and he hugged me, and it was just amazing, and I liked it. Like, he was nice, and I also met Agent Carter, and of course Frodo. It was kind of an awkward meeting, because I said hi, and then he just like said hi back in a shy way, and he really had, all I can remember is he had the most bluest eyes I've ever seen. It's really so blue, and it's like he has amazing eyes, and he was a cutie, but he wasn't really like friendly. I think one of the friendliest celebrities that I have met was, if you watch The Flash TV show, so I joined Comic-Con. It's sort of a TV convention, if you can call that, in New Jersey, and it was the guy that plays Cisco from The Flash. He was so friendly to me, and he was so nice, and he's just so down to earth. He's the kind of guy that you would like to hang out with. There's really no pretense, and he was really amazing. And I had a picture with the Flash crew. It's amazing. And I had a one-on-one like picture taking with Arrow Stephen Amell. If you guys follow the Arrow, I followed the Arrow from seasons 1 to 5, and then I just like fell off the wagon because the story just became convoluted. But I was a fan, I swear. First season and second season, I was the number one fan, and it's pretty amazing that I wasn't expecting him to hug me, because I was just like, hey, and then he gave me a hug, and I think we have a picture where he was giving me a hug, and then I said, yeah, that's nice. And I was a big fan, but now I'm not really a big fan of the shows, or any shows for that matter. I'm just like, meh, and I went to see, I think I only went to see one concert, if I can recall. I think it was the Script, and they're the ones from the UK, they're Irish band, And I guess I'm not into the music that much. I mean, I love and I enjoy music. I'm not a concert goer, I guess. So another person that I met in person was, and this is the most memorable one, I think. It was Edward, or Robert Pattinson. So I was walking in around 2nd Avenue and 7th or 9th Street, around that place. I knew it was in 2nd Avenue or that place in Lower East Side of Manhattan, and I was just walking, and I couldn't help it. This dude, I didn't know at first he was Robert Pattinson or Edward from Twilight, but you are just instantly drawn to him. He's just so, like, his face glows, and the moment I saw him, and I'm like, this dude, he's not a normal dude. He's so handsome, and his face was shimmering. He was just very bright looking. If you ever read the Twilight novels, it would describe there that Edward is like shimmering in the sunlight. So I swear this dude, which I didn't know at that time was Edward or Robert Pattinson, his face was glowing, and I just couldn't help but stare at him. I stared at him. I was pretty close, maybe 1 or 2 feet away from him. I was like stared at him, and he stared back because he thought I was a fan, and he thought I was going to get a selfie or an autograph, but I just didn't recognize him. I'm like, this dude, he's so handsome. He's not an ordinary dude, and I think he was wearing shades at that time and a black leather jacket. But I couldn't really, in my head I was saying, this dude really looks familiar, but I don't know where I saw him. So I walked away. I literally walked away, which probably confounded him. He was probably confused, like, hey, what was that about? This girl just stared at me, and then with a puzzled look on her face, and she just walked away. And as I was walking away, I said, oh my God, I think that was Edward. And then I went on the internet, and I found out that it really was Edward. On the same day, there was a paparazzi shot of him that he was in the Lower East Side around that same place, 2nd Avenue and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's funny, but I swear the dude was so handsome. Like, you would just instantly know that he is not from this planet. He is probably one of the most attractive celebrities or people that I have met. He was pretty cute, but I'm not a fan, and I don't really like that he chose him. The studio, Warner Brothers, chose him for Batman. I'm a huge Batman fan, and I'm just disappointed that they chose him. And I did watch the Twilight. I'm not a big fan, but I found it entertaining. Just to be honest with you, it was really entertaining. But I'm not a big fan of his, so I would like to say I'm totally unbiased when I say he was really cute. He was handsome. And a funny thing is, I almost saw Meryl Streep in person. I was walking on Greenwich Village, and then suddenly, like, people are saying, look, there's Meryl Streep, she's crossing the street. And then we just turned around to look, and then by the time I looked, she was already gone, and I was so disappointed. I said, oh my God, I missed my chance of ever, seeing Meryl Streep in person. It was so annoying, and I missed my chance. But hopefully in the near future I will hopefully get to see her, get a glimpse of her, or get a selfie with her at least. And so those have been my celebrity encounters in America, and I'm sure I've forgotten a few of them. There's literally in the conventions, there's a lot of actors there, but since I'm not really into them, I just would just ignore them. And these are just the celebrities that stand out. Oh yeah, by the way, I also, speaking of Frodo, I think I saw Draco Malfoy. He was in the Comic-Con as well. in Albuquerque. He's a nice dude, and he sang a song. And I think what was funny about that was there was this young boy. I think he was 10 years old, and I think he was only starting to get into the Harry Potter franchise, because he was almost crying, and he told Draco, or the guy that plays Draco, I don't even know his name, he said, "Oh, you're so mean to Harry Potter." And he was like, the boy was almost crying, and Draco was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He is nice in person. He seems a very down-to-earth guy. And he was talking about his friendship with Emma Watson and Harry Potter, or Daniel Radcliffe. He seems like a pretty nice guy, but the thing that he told us is that people think that he's mean, and they're actually surprised that he's not mean in real life. So I think that's the disadvantage of playing a famous villain. You get people think that you're evil. So this young boy who was a fan thought that he was Draco Malfoy in real life, and then the boy was almost crying, and he's like, "Oh, why did you mistreat Harry Potter? Why were you so bad to him?" And it was really, really funny. And I think that's it. Nothing stands out for now. Those are most of the celebrities that I've met. I'm sure they're celebrities. Yeah, there were shows there. I think the Shield, Agents of Shield. Yeah, there were shows in the convention. There were actors there, and I think even from the new Star Trek series. But I just completely ignored them. I was just in there for the bigger celebrities, and yeah, I think that's it. And I will do another episode like this when I've met more celebrities. And speaking of which, before I end the show, yeah, I had tickets for a VIP to see the Marvel the Marvel cast in Boston, and I had tickets. I had a plane ticket, I had a hotel ticket, I had VIP tickets to have a one-on-one photo op with one of the Marvel cast. And Captain America was in here, Thor was in here, Loki was in here, everybody was in there. Even the Star Wars the old Star Wars cast was there as well. It's pretty amazing. And in 2 minutes, the tickets were gone, but I was lucky to get a VIP ticket. And I was so pissed when they canceled because of the coronavirus. It was just so crazy. And so disappointed until today. I'm still disappointed. And I even had, a Marvel themed jacket and a Marvel themed shoes. And I was so pretty pissed that they canceled at the last minute. And I did get refunds, but I didn't get refunded for the hotel, which I was really pissed, But what can we do? It's the corona, it's COVID. So it might be many, 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 many more years before life returns back to normal. And then we'll have Comic-Cons and conventions, and we'll meet and greet our idols in life. But yeah, it's been a pretty brutal year, and made me realize celebrities are fine and it's all good and great, but I think the theme for 2020 is that it's the great equalizer. Everybody's just equal now, there's celebrities are, they have their fame and their status, but that doesn't really matter now in the time of the coronavirus. Everybody can get sick, and it's a pretty brutal year, but I'm hopeful that in the next maybe 3 to 5 years, life will return back to normal, and we'll have comic conventions again, and we'll have shows, and we'll have stand-up comedy again. And I'm really looking forward to that. But it was good, while we had it. And now is just the time to just be careful. And thank you very much for listening to the show. And who was who if you're in America, if you're Bisaya, or if you're a Filipino, you can email me at homewithjeannie@gmail.com and tell me about your experience with celebrities. Who did you meet? What did you do? Where did you go? And if you're not a Bisaya or not a Filipino and you're listening to this, thanks for listening. And who did you meet? Like, which celebrities did you meet and encounter? And tell me your experience. So email me at homeofjeannie@gmail.com. And thank you very much. And I'll see you at the next show. Bye-bye.